2, 1. Welcome to the Cafe Nightly Show. It is a little late here on a Tuesday, the 23rd of January, 2024. Welcome in. As your host, Goldsmith, I am up on YouTube. You can see me there. We'll be recorded, always am. So Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. PT. Try to get that out there. If you can't be on live, please feel free to watch as you can. And then, of course, we do try to do this streaming in the Plaza as well as in Discord. If you want to be one place or the other, please feel free to be where works best for you. To get started tonight, there wasn't any major announcements, but it's worth going back on a couple that have come out over the last couple of days. We are still in Tokyo. Tokyo is still completing here as far as there's a couple of events that are going to wind through over the next couple of days. So we'll go back and look at those ones that are still applicable. We do have a collection reveal on Thursday, so we do want to keep our eyes out for that collection reveal for Thursday. We are also going to see, and we should be plan for and prepare for a couple other parts of that as well. So we'll get into the details of what's still going on there. We do have some building releases, some structure releases for limited time production. We'll get into those because those are a 24-hour window. So if you want to know what is going on over the next several days, we'll touch on those so you can have a calendar. And of course, not everything that happens in Upland is an official announcement. We did have some errors in Upland that are not still resolved. So we'll go into and just touch on those. If you're having and experiencing concerns, can hardly see myself with a green screen eating me up. If you're still having those concerns, we want to give you the quick workarounds and fingers crossed, it's been reported. We'll have a resolution soon. Before we kick into everything, obviously, as always, disclaimer up front, all views and opinions expressed by myself are mine and mine alone. Should be taken as game strategy or financial advice. They don't represent the game of the team of Upland. Any guests that we have on, any contributors, they have their own opinions, and they are welcome to them. They don't represent myself, the Goldsmith, the Cafe Nightly Show, or the team or the game of Upland. And jumping into the basics of what's going on or what's different today than yesterday. Obviously, we did have an error today in accessing profiles. People were seeing that. Profiles use a very similar layout as just looking at somebody else's profile, your profile versus theirs. Searchability for other people's profiles was having errors as well. And that seems to be the major error. Again, we don't know. We haven't been told what the issue was or had it solved yet, but it appears to be something tied to the profiles. It's been reported and supposedly is being worked on at the moment. Hopefully, if you listen to this recorded in the next day or two, it is history. It is something that has been taken care of. In the meantime, there are a couple things that are right up front. If you are having an issue accessing your profile for the sake of getting to your totems, let's take a look at a quick workaround. Key here is if you're following along on YouTube, I will put it up and stream it so we can take a look. There is and always has been and always will be, hopefully, fingers crossed, a couple different ways to get anywhere in Upland. Let's keep it that way. Having a redundancy means that if something doesn't work the way it's supposed to at a short period of time, we have another way to get there. We have another way to make it work. So I'm going to go take a look here. Right now, I should be showing the screen. If I take a look at the three dots in the middle of the screen, I like to call them the magic hot dog. You could call them an ellipses. You could say that it is the quick menu access, which it is right here. There's our quick menu in the middle of the screen. We have access to our assets. Again, that's what a lot of people get from their profile. They go to their assets page. We've got our map assets here. And then I can get down to my totems, of course. That's something that people access from their profile page quite a bit. That is all there. You are still able to essentially go and see any of your other assets that you'd want to look at. You can still get to your properties here. I can still, on my main properties landing page, because some of the same information that I do get out of my profile here. And of course, that is also where I'm going to maintain my sent offers if I've got any out there. And then, of course, beyond that, if there is something specific, like you're looking for that, the readout of how much you currently have staked on your properties in structures being built, that is something that's harder to do. And layer 1, there are many layer 2 resources. Opix Land does have a pretty good profile view where you can see where your Spark is currently staked. There's other resources as well that do the same thing. Opix Spark Exchange, if you do go to their site, they do have a ability for you to check and see where you're currently, building. That other resources exist as well to keep track of where your spark is currently staked. And if you really want to go and do the research and kind of learn the minor tools of blockchain, you can go and look at your current spark allocations as well. All of those things aside, profile hopefully will be something that is restored in a relatively short period of time, with the caveat that most of the things can be worked around that people are having with it. We will continue to check with the team to see if we can get an answer on that, being that it's been reported, being that people have checked in with the team to make sure that they're working on this. Otherwise, getting into the areas that are review, a couple things are review that we've been going through. Obviously, totems. We're at a point where almost everybody knows something or has a resource. If they're actively participating with totems, they have a resource that they're using that is their go-to. I've discussed a few that I've had success with. Other people have continued to have success with theirs. Myupland.info has had some structural improvements over the last couple of days, so people had some questions about what's going on there. Things are still available as the basic functions and features. It appears they've added some functions and features and a paywall to get into certain functions, certain features, but free access to a lot of the site. We continue to see that with many of the resources in Upland. You can get basics information. You can log in or get the statistics or get what you need to do your own gameplay. But if you're looking for advanced features, if you want to look at additional statistic analysis, some of those things do get moved behind paywalls. And again, this is work that takes some development time, effort, and in some cases, people have put real money in to developing these tools by hiring third parties or giving up a portion of their income in order to have more time to work on these projects. So I'm all for it. I'm glad to see it, that we continue to see these projects develop. Just a heads up on those. You will see if there's third party tools out there, they could get moved behind a paywall because the people who are making them obviously want to at least cover their costs, if not make a profit off some of these things. But as of right now, Upland or myupland.info still is a free tool if you're still working on your totems. Jumping in and taking a look at, again, the announcement that we have been working on for a couple days here, or have been working on for the last week here anyways, obviously is Tokyo with the Tokyo expansion. We have a few parts of that Tokyo expansion that are still relevant, that are still being worked through. On that, obviously, there are still properties that are open for minting. 16,000 properties, many still available, many still unminted. Incentive for minting properties that are unminted is still there. So if you are looking at minting properties in Tokyo, keep in mind that snapshot or that end of the contest, if I come all the way down here, the end of the terminal contest is going to be the 1st of February at noon PT. Again, the entry period for the giveaway, Thursday, February 1st at noon PT. So definitely continue to mint if you choose to do so. Each property minted, again, not purchased as secondary, but property minted, is one entry into the Tokyo terminal giveaway. That is a airport terminal international out of Tokyo. If you want to own that terminal, you have to get lucky. Again, nobody can guarantee that theirs will be the name pulled. We again on the city expansion also saw a couple special things that are still open and still available. Again, there was the building spree from Friday, January 19th into Monday, January 22nd. Was the opportunity to go and build this nice structure. Guess what? Today's the 23rd. Go figure. Just a heads up there. That is something that we don't have much fun with. We don't have much opportunity to interact with at this point. But we do have a couple pieces of the fun still going on for Tokyo. The passes are still out there. They're still exchangeable. People can buy them, sell them, trade them if they want to be holding on to properties. Holding on to this mint pass when they do have the opportunity to get the snapshot and have a property reserved for them in Tokyo. Those properties reserved by the pass, again, one property reserved per pass, will have a 15% chance of being a collection. 80% of those will have a special structure that you can build on those. Just look at this right here. And that build period, again, is going to be available, for a 24-hour period. Yeah, the bill period for a 24-hour period, January 30th at 9 a.m. PT cuts that off. Obviously, you have to mint the properties first. The snapshot is going to be on the 26th for those properties if you're holding on to the pass. The mint period is between the 26th and the 29th, and as mentioned, between the 29th and 30th, that's when you have the opportunity to build this unique structure on those properties that you choose to do so, that you did buy a pass for, that did get minted on his pass, and that you, again, have a very short period of time to start the structure. Of course, as with the previous structure for Tokyo, you had the opportunity to start it over a short period of time. You do not need to finish it during that period of time. So as long as you get it started, you're in good shape. You just have to keep the minimal spark staked on that property to keep that construction in place as you work towards completion of that property. And the reason why it's a nice segue to be talking about these properties that, again, one of them stopped, one of them is going to be in about a week. Why it's a good time to segue on that is because that's a big part of what's going on this Spark Week. One thing that was done this Spark Week that hasn't been done in the past is there were some limited time structures that were brought into the mix. You can only start them, only construct them during a short period of time, and that happens to coincide with Spark Week. So go figure. That is one of our use cases of Spark, and it's good to see that. That addition added. We are seeing the additions of events or things that really make things into events be taken more seriously with city releases. I like to see that continue to happen. So with Spark Week, this is the new addition. The new addition is an individual structure that is only can be started or commenced during a 24-hour period. There are 3 separate structures and 3 separate days. So Queens, tomorrow, the 24th, 9 a.m. PT, to the 25th at 9 a.m. PT, you have the opportunity to make this limited edition, limited time only structure, starting and constructing in Queens. And Kiro brought it up today, and I appreciate him bringing it up. Without the profile, it's hard for people to see their spark balance. Hopefully, Upland fixes this quickly. So as we do get ready to construct this, people don't have to second guess. People don't have to run to their other properties that they are constructing currently, and then to remove Spark. They can see what they have available and get to it at a glance. So the Queen structure, if you haven't seen it yet, if you're not on if you're not on YouTube currently, take a look at the announcement. Announcement can be seen on the Upland calendar of events. It can also be seen if you do look at your recent announcements in the lower left-hand corner from Upland on your messages. And the structure here for Queens looks to be a brownstone. It's that iconic brownstone with a pretty serious stairs up front, concrete stairs, stone stairs, brick stairs. They can be a little of everything, but again, the large stairs up front, three-story in this case, 3-story brownstone, and again that basement level or that ground level, being something that is below the entry, below that main entry level. So it's kind of interesting to see this. It definitely does look like there's more detail put into this. I did already say this caveat in a couple places. I'll say it again. I like when Master Builders takes the community builds or the computer designs and brings it to the game of Upland. This is cool. This exists. I wish it came from the community. I wish it came from players of Upland. But again, there is more detail in these than what has been called, at least by some members of Upland, the legacy structures, the structures that we've had in the game from early on. And I like the level of details on these. So that is going to be something for the next 24 hours, again, starting at 9 a.m. PT. So for 9 a.m. PT on the 24th into 9 a.m. PT on the 25th, you can start that structure. If you don't start it, guess what? Your opportunity to build it is over. If you start it and you can't finish it, obviously, most of us, all of us, aren't going to be able to finish that in a 24-hour period. But to get it started, that window is limited. make sure you do so if you're interested in having the new structure in Queens. Dallas is going to be from the 25th to the 26th, same thing, 9 a.m. to 9 a.m., 24 hours to start the structure. The structure is a little different. Obviously, I think that the idea of having these characters or these follow the character of some of the structures that are in the real world city is fun. What we do is we have a two-story here. It is more similar to not deluxe. I was going to say a lux ranch, a luxury ranch that we have now. We have a small outbuilding in the back, and you have a structure up front. This happens to be two-story up front, and then you happen to have the outbuilding in the back. So very similar there. Looks like it is kind of. It's got a little belfry here, a little tower here. Kind of looks like it's a little bit on the idea of a mission. Just the way that roof is set. And again, that is going to be on the 25th into the 26th to start that same way as Queens. And then one last city, one last structure, and it's very similar to the structure for Dallas. In Nashville, from the 26th at 9 a.m. PT until the 27th at 9 a.m. PT, you're going to be able to start a structure in Nashville that is unique to the city. Same overall layout. If you look at it, it's the same overall layout where you have an outbuilding in the back. You have a two-story home. You happen to have a little bit of a different design here. You've got some nice chimneys in the front and the back here. You don't have that little belfry. You don't have that little adjustment there. It is interesting to see the idea of building character of a city back in a little more. I like that Upland is doing this over a limited period of time. It rewards people for being here at this time. It rewards people for moving and allocating Spark now as opposed to later. And it keeps Spark moving. It keeps people from putting a little bit of Spark on a project and just leaving it there forever. It keeps them thinking about what they want to construct and why. And hopefully, and I think people are thinking about what this structure looks like in the future of Upland, what they can do with it. Do they want to potentially put a shop there? We know that you can put, MetaVenture shop, not showroom, but MetaVenture shop into the majority of the structures that we have in the game of Upland, with the exception of the micro house. Maybe for the city of Nashville, maybe it makes sense to have this structure to have a certain business, and maybe that's something people want to do. Or maybe it's just that it looks better than what we have for legacy buildings, for legacy structures. Maybe that's what the incentive is. But that incentive is there, whatever it happens to be, at the 24-hour period for each of the three cities to get that started and going. We are still in a Spark week, so let's not forget about that. If you are working on upgrading this week, if you have a status you haven't yet taken, status upgrades are active this week until next Monday. 0.06, 0.12, 0.6, 1.2 and 2.4 being the Spark allocations for leveling up for the following. Visitor to Uplander 0.06, Uplander Pro 0.12 Spark, Pro to Director 0.6 Spark, and Director to Executive 1.2. If you're going from Executive to Chief Executive, few people are. 2.4 Spark is headed your way. It's 20% increase in the Spark reward, again, over this special period in Spark Week, except for Visitor to Upland. Uplander, you don't usually get Spark, but you do at this time. So it's a good opportunity to get that little Spark reward as you get established in the game. Pretty easy there. Again, with Spark, we do want to always highlight, we'll continue to highlight what the things that are different from the past. As of right now, we've been a few cycles without having a Spark treasure hunt. Since we're a few cycles without a Spark treasure hunt, I would feel pretty confident it's not something that's a feature that's coming back. I could be surprised. Who knows? We'll see. The Spark balance, the Spark economy, the use case for Spark, those are all things that are shifting. Sparklet is going to be something that Upland's going to put a little bit of effort in the near future. The team has already talked about the importance of road mapping Spark utility. So that is something that's supposed to happen this quarter. So we'll see more of that from the team. But because of the announcement of Sparklet, especially, I think the idea of how much Spark Upland's giving out in treasure hunts is something they've taken seriously, and is part of the reason why we're not seeing that as a continued feature of Spark Week. I do like that they are adding an additional feature of Spark Week to be more of an event. Because they only did 3 cities, I think they're going to be able to rotate this for future Spark Weeks, moving to different cities, have a limited time structure to build there. So that would be interesting. But of course, I do think that Upland's events do drive a lot of people's activity in the game. I know people are already planning for, hey, I've got properties in Queens that I want to build a structure on. They're going to be active at a time they may otherwise not have been active. And of course, the biggest thing that is making people active in Upland right now is totems. We're going to have to see what replaces totems once we get in between the first cycle and the second cycle, and the third cycle, and the fourth cycle, and the fifth. But of course, we've got another 4 cycles after this one complete. So we'll continue to have that interaction, or people will continue to have that reason to interact with the game of Upland. As of right now, what we're looking forward to, I always like to look forward a little bit. Collection reveal is going to be on Thursday. If you are in the process of acquiring more properties in Tokyo, or if you're trying to move properties around and sell them, keep that in mind. As with passes in the past, we have that period to exchange the passes if you want to be part of that snapshot on the 26th. So keep that in mind for the open economy nature, the they're for sale. You can buy them, sell them, move them around if you choose to do so. So keep that in mind. That snapshot is going to be headed towards the end of this week, and if you are going to try to be captured in that snapshot, the 26th, that's Friday, the 26th is when that snapshot happens at 9 a.m. PT. You want to have your pass before then if you want to be randomly allocated one of these properties that you get to mint. The acknowledgement here, or the suggestion here, is to keep in mind that if you do get allocated a property because you're holding the pass, you have to be in Tokyo in order to mint that. So keep that in mind. That's not something you can buy third party. And there's no guarantee about what size or what cost structure property you're going to get, what you can do with it. 80% of those are going to be large enough to put what is overall a townhouse here for the Tokyo Pass townhouse that will have a 24-hour period to construct. So keep that in mind, and to just kind of balance that with what your other plans are with collection reveal Thursday. Timing on this allows you to see what happens on the collection reveal, decide if you want to get that one last property, buy the pass on secondary, be part of the snapshot, and then see what luck holds for you as far as if you get that property. And of course, as mentioned earlier, that one property, that additional property that you have reserved for you from the past, also counts as a minted property for minting that property to get another entry into the terminal giveaway. Otherwise, for the rest of this week, we're going to continue on and go through Spark Week. Not a lot of things to rush on, short of those structures as we went over the schedule. We do know that as we get out of this week, we're going to move further into this quarter. We've got a couple things we're waiting on, a announcement or a AMA at some point on Spark Utility or Spark Road Mapping long term. We know we have cars as transportation coming later this month. As we're still in Spark Week, you can consider that as you wish. As you make decisions about Spark and your acquiring of it. And then, of course, beyond that, we still have a few more things to be done this quarter, few updates along the way. I'm looking forward to seeing those be the case. For tonight, thank you everyone for being here. We did get a late start. We did a short show because we didn't have a lot here, but we do want to push forward to looking at the next thing. We will be looking later in the week at getting a interview either the end of this week or the first thing next week, early next week, with Jason from UGC over on the creative side. Get a better idea of the thought process behind the new playground, what that's going to look at, like the overall scope and scale of UGC and Upland and the plans for it moving forward. So looking forward to that. And additionally, we happen to be going to the time of year that I get crazy busy on Friday. So we'll see if the show time can stand there. But for tonight, thank you so much for being here. As always, if you are in the Discord, the Uplands Discord, feel free to unmute your mics. The floor is yours.